where is he at with the alignment, and what are they going to do for him as far as broadcasting goes now?
Well, Tim works for Fox, so he will do a regular game every week for them. I don't know what his schedule looks like, but I have heard from him, and I think he's pretty. I know he's excited about the season. I haven't heard his or seen his predictions yet, but we'll see if we can get them.
Finally, are you really considering maybe giving Jim a little airtime as his own little slot, maybe once a week?
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Ooh, what a dinger.
Man, I miss our days playing ball. But ever since I turned 40, just thinking about taking a lap around the bases makes me tired.
You ever think lower testosterone is the issue?
What are you saying?
After 40, the body has less testosterone, impacting your drive. That's why guys like me take Nugenix Total T to keep their energy up.
Nugenix really works for you?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I feel great. Getting up early for workouts. I'm focused, energized, getting things done at work, in the gym. I even feel more passionate in my relationship.
How do I give Nugenix a try?
Send them a text for a complimentary bottle.
Text CHART to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text CHART to 321-321. That's CHART to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. So it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Stuart Evans, Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation in a changing rate environment. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit me at our downtown Huntsville office and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Bryant Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
Looking for your next adventure to be out of this world but don't have enough money to buy a spaceship and leave orbit? Well, look no further than Divergence VR theme park off of Governor's Drive Southwest in Huntsville, Alabama. Are zombies more your style? How about driving your favorite cars on the world's fastest track? Or maybe a gorilla game that has you climbing up tall trees to escape other gorillas? Wait, that's actually a thing? Huh. Would you look at that? For whatever adventure you can dream of, call 256-203-4128 to get your VR adventure started now.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, blast.
Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
Come see your Rocket City Trash Pandas take on the Birmingham Barons tonight for a special dog day at Toyota Field. Not only can you bring your dog to the park with you, but you can also score $1 hot dogs all night long. Get your tickets for tonight's game and the rest of the homestand now at tptix.com.
Let's rock it.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas host the Birmingham Barons today at 6:20 on Talk Radio WZZN 97.7 HD2 and the Talk Radio WZZN app.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Well, we finally have a little meat on the bone. The NCAA is not messing around. If you think I'm serious, then you haven't been following the NCAA for really the last 20-some-odd years. But we'll get into what they did to Jim Harbaugh. How dare you, Jim Harbaugh? Anyway. Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton here with you, walking up to Braves baseball. We'll figure out if the Braves can score a run tonight. Anyway, how are you, Wes?
Doing good, Steve.
Did you read any of the findings? Now, keep in mind that this is the first violation, not the one that involved the cheeseburgers that we've been kind of poking fun a little bit about Coach Harbaugh with for recruiting violations. But this stems back from the COVID violations back in 2020. That's why the NCAA hammered down on Coach Harbaugh, a 4-year show cause. Did you read any of this?
No. Zero.
It's not worth it. It really isn't. It really isn't, but anyway, that was some of the news today. Also, I don't know if you tuned in this morning, but our boys landed a big fish.
I heard that. I saw Drew, and he said they were going to have
head ball coach.
Yeah, the head ball coach. Yeah.
Yeah, sure did.
I was talking to one of my Duke players just this week. He's going into the Duke University Hall of Fame. Quentin McCracken, defensive back. And I told Quentin, I said, people ask me all the time, how in the world you guys win 6 SECs your first 7 years at Florida?
Yeah.
And I said, one big reason, I brought down all the video tape of the Duke team of '89 and how these guys won the ACC championship. And our team looked at these Duke guys. Our 2 DBs were like 5'7" and 5'9", something like that. Our starting inside linebacker, George Edwards, was 5'11", 225. Our defensive end weighed 185, 190. And these guys played their hearts out. They played with effort. They played with good attitude. And, man, they came to the ballpark ready to play. So our Florida guys looked at all of that, and they said, gosh, we got way more talent than those Duke guys. Let's go win an SEC championship. And, I told them we certainly got a chance to, and that'll be our goal for the year. So they did it the first year. The second year, we lost the championship game to Alabama on Antonio Langham's interception. The first ever game.
Yeah.
But then we were able to put that 4 in a row, winning the championship game 4 years in a row, which has never been done before. Even Saban's Alabama teams didn't win 4 in a row. I think we won 3 in a row at one point. Anyway, those Duke players helped us be successful at Florida. Simple as that.
Had to, dig at Nick right there. But
yeah, well, Alabama won 4 in a row with Coach Bryant, just not in the era of the championship game. But they won 4 SEC titles in a row, more than once. Yeah.
But if you want to hear that full interview, head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. That was a good score for the guys in the morning. And who did Tom have on today? I don't think anybody of that, caliber. He went Josh Carey. By the way, Josh just celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday to the voice of the Trash Pandas. And then David Moulton, you can hear in the mornings, and I mean really early in the morning, Miller and Moulton over, I think it runs from like 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. over on Talk Radio WZZN. That is our sister station. the .2 channel. But we have all I was able to manage was the athletic director at Auburn University. John Cohen is going to join us here in about 10 minutes time. And because there is a lot to deal with being an athletic director right now, most notably
no one with authority, and trust me, I talk to John Cohen all the time about this, but no one has been able to say to me, hey, you're going to be at this number next fall. And so I'm kind of still wondering myself.
That is Hugh Freeze from a week ago, but wanted to dive into that as well as many other topics with the athletic director at Auburn University, who is going to join us in 10 minutes time. Still, I'm going to sneak in a break before we do that because I've got some more audio that I wanted to play for you. The Honey Badger is entering in his 12th season in the National Football League. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
So there is a guy by the name of Kool-Aid McKinstry that is now being tutored by the Honey Badger. So Rich Eisen asked him to give us a scouting report on Kool-Aid from the Honey Badger.
Well, he's bigger than I thought he was. You know, he looks good. He looks the part. You know, obviously it's it's a learning curve that kind of has to take place. But you know, I think he's smart enough to be able to kind of grasp. And you know, he's playing outside corner. He's playing inside. You know, we're kind of asking him to do a lot. But you know, he comes from the Nick Saban tree. So you know, I'm pretty sure he can handle it.
That is the Honey Badger from earlier in the week. But his 12th season.
What a guy weighs 165. He probably weighs 175 now. That's what the most incredible thing about him is his size and to be so dominant of a player as a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the Southeastern Conference.
Get kicked off again at LSU. And I mean, to see what the man he has become is it's really
he's
fun to see.
Out of trouble, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And he's been doing that while in New Orleans as well, right in his own backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, so tip of the cap as well, because remember, for many years, and it's probably a case today, Rolando McClain and the city of Decatur just don't get along. So, I mean,
yeah, well, so I think I've told you this. I ran into him and we were at a restaurant.
No, you didn't tell me.
At a casino, and he was right next to me, but I didn't want to bother him, you know?
Yeah.
And so didn't say anything to him, then ran into the casino, talked to him for a minute, just nodded heads at him, you know, didn't really talk to him.
Yeah.
And the next day, I tell Connor, I said, yeah, I saw the Honey Badger last night, but I didn't bother him. He said, yeah. He said that he looked like he said he saw you and said he didn't want to come up to you because he didn't want to bother you.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was funny because I didn't know he knew who I was anyway.
Go ahead, Wes.
Anyway, I'm gonna talk to him next time I see him.
Please do. We'd love to have him on. By the way, he is so much fun to watch. How he reads and jumps, his athletic ability, he's got it all.
It's his
so much fun to watch.
that makes him. He has elite quickness and elite instincts, and between the two of them, he's amazing.
So one story I ran with a couple of weeks ago was the assurances that we were being given that Bo Nix is going to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Well, maybe not so much now. The depth chart was released yesterday for preseason game number 1, and Bo Nix is third string. Jarrett Stidham is your starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Keep in mind it's still preseason, but here is Sean Payton on why Bo knows third string.
There wasn't a lot of thought. I mean, we just got the depth chart out, and that's it. That's where we're at now. He'll get work with the ones in this preseason, and we'll see what we do with the other guys.
So I read a little bit of.
Well, if he's 13, that means he's starting tonight, right? Or when they play.
They're taking on the Colts. That is on Sunday. By the way, it'll be on the NFL Network Sunday at high noon on the NFL Network. So, oh yeah, we're going to see plenty of Bo Nix there in the preseason as he was first round selection. Moved. There's a lot of people believing that he is going to probably get the bulk of the snaps from the rookie quarterbacks, albeit there is a certain Bear quarterback that is garnering a lot of attention as well from that first overall pick. But we'll see how that all shakes down. We are going to take a timeout. The athletic director at Auburn University, John Cohen, he is going to join us next right here on The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This summer, make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Make it 0% financing, make it no down payment, and make no payments for 90 days. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's our Ford Summer Sales event, and I promise you can save serious dollars on a large selection of our 2024 Fords. We've got financing as low as 0% for 36 months on 2024 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, plus all-electric F-150 Lightning and Mustang Mach-E. And on all these Fords I just mentioned, you'll make no down payment and no payments for 90 days. Can you say Orange Beach, here we come? This is going to be a good summer. Come choose from over 550 new Fords, and you'll learn firsthand that nobody will work harder to earn your business. Brand new award-winning Fords with 0% financing, no down payment, and no payment for 90 days with your good credit. This offer ends 9/3/24. Come see us today and make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. The Lion's Secret.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
If you enjoy 97.7 ESPN The Zone for all the best in sports talk, you'll love Talk Radio WZZN on 97.7 HD2. Don't have an HD radio? No worries. Download the app by searching for Talk Radio WZZN on your phone or visit the website at Talk Radio WZZN. Talk Radio WZZN features the best in talk from Fox News Radio during the day, plus Bill O'Reilly and his No Spin News at 6. Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas host the Birmingham Barons today at 6:20 on Talk Radio WZZN, 97.7 HD2, and the Talk Radio WZZN app.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here with you on this Wednesday edition of The Drive, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. There is plenty of subjects to have a conversation with our next guest, and he is the athletic director. In fact, sneaking up on 2 years coming up, I believe, this November. He is Coach John Cohen, who's kind enough to join us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Steve. Where's Wes today?
Yeah, I'm right here, John. I was going to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to start off by giving you my condolences for your aunt who passed away, who was one of my mom's really best friend, and wanted to tell you that. But what a life, right? What a life.
We had a great celebration of her life in Tuscaloosa a while back, and boy, she thought she was sure proud of the Neighbor family. There's no question about that.
So I did want to also start with maybe another subject that may be a little bit off the beaten path, and it is where you got your playing career started at Birmingham Southern. And with that run that they had after the school closed, but really what did Birmingham Southern mean to you in your maturation, Coach?
Well, first of all, Steve, great school, liberal arts school, right there on the western side of Birmingham, and just a great education, great school, great people. Little sad, I transferred from there after my freshman year to Mississippi State, and I left a bunch of friends there that I still am in contact with today, a bunch of teammates. I think it's a loss for the city of Birmingham, but I do understand, the world is changing and things happen, but sad to see them close the gates on Birmingham Southern.
So you mentioned the changing world, and we're seeing it develop right in front of us. In fact, your head coach, he said this about you last week. I don't know if you heard it.
No one with authority, and trust me, I talk to John Cohen all the time about this, but no one has been able to say to me, hey, you're going to be at this number next fall. And so I'm kind of still wondering myself.
So tell us about those conversations, not only with the football coach, but I would imagine across the board.
Well, yes, the roster sizes have changed. We don't have, a signed agreement just yet. But obviously rosters are really important, and moving into a new world in terms of scholarships and roster sizes. And the thing that I keep parroting as a former coach is right now you have many coaches who are not only preparing for their 25, 26 group that they're going to have next year on campus, but they're preparing for 26, 27, 27, 28. And if you don't know exactly what your roster is going to look like in terms of numbers, that is a source of frustration. And I've had this conversation with many of our coaches, and right now we're just doing a little bit of guessing as to where we're gonna be. I have a lot of faith in our league, and we're going to work behind the scenes to get as much information as we can to our coaches. But it's complicated because you have a court decision and a court case that's intertwining with the future of intercollegiate athletics. So you're 100% right, and Hugh's 100% right. We have this conversation daily, not only with you, but several of our coaches.
So, John, do you think it's a good possibility that the Olympic sports will be club sports in the Southeastern Conference?
I don't. That's so hard to say. I can tell you for sure that's not what any of us want. because all of us have tremendous history and tradition when it comes to those. And I hate to even say Olympic sports. They deserve their own title. Whether it's baseball or track and field or softball or volleyball or whatever the sport is. We have great traditions there, and you just don't want to walk away from any of that. But we're going to have to come up with revenue. I think that's clear, and I am somebody who I'm budget oriented. I want to stay within our allotted budget, and if you heap a large sum of money that's in some form a revenue share, then that money is going to have to come from somewhere. So we're all working toward that. I don't want that to happen, Wes.
Well, I mean, nobody wants it to happen, but it is a possibility. And
I would
know
say
that's
that
been,
everything's possible at this point for sure.
yeah. I mean, what's so wild is 3 years ago, we were wondering how in the world they were going to spend all this money, and now we're wondering where it's all going to come from.
I want to tell you this. If I was the parent of an SEC football player, I'd probably be saying, hey, listen, my son plays a sport that creates an incredible amount of revenue, and they deserve opportunities in that space. And I would agree with that. On the flip side, I would say kids work very, very hard to get to this level, no matter what sport they're in, and they deserve similar opportunities. And the challenge that we have is those two differing thoughts are converging on each other. And where do we go from here? And we have really smart people working on it, but there seems to be more questions than answers right now.
Well, I mean, I guess it's because of the court thing, right? There's not just one lawsuit, and it seems like there's more coming down the pipe. So who knows where it ends up? And what y'all are trying to do is take what you think is going to happen and make sense of it, and that's hard to do when you're trying to run an athletic department the size of these athletic departments now.
Well, yeah, and there's this thing, and people laugh when you say this in the media, but there's this thing about fairness. We want fairness in our league. We want fairness across the board at the highest level of intercollegiate athletics. That's the reason why, way back, and you'll remember this, Wes and Steve, in the 70s, right? Even in the 60s, Tom Osborne and Coach Bryant, and I mean, there was limitless scholarships. I mean, there were football coaches all over the country who were, by their own admission, were putting football players on tennis scholarships and swimming scholarships.
My dad was on a track scholarship.
Yes. So you intimately know this.
Yes.
And we all got together, not we, but the NCAA and everyone from around the country got together and said, hey, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to allow somebody to have more scholarships than others. And that was done out of fairness. Moving forward here, when you talk about revenue, how do we create that type of fairness? Can you establish that type of fairness? And I think that's what we're all after.
Talking to Coach John Cohen right now, the athletic director for Auburn University right now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And on the subject of fairness, I've heard from several coaches, be it at the spring meetings down in Destin or even this fall, Coach, and it's about the walk-ons that are currently on the roster right now. Isn't the fair thing to do, no matter what happens with the scholarships, in theory going up to 105, there's got to be a place for these walk-ons that are currently on all these university rosters across the SEC.
Yeah, you just got to come up with something that's equitable and fair. You're right. I don't know what that answer is. There are a lot of theories about this. You want to make sure that those kids are taken into account, and you would love for this number to slowly dwindle. If it's going to be 105, then it would slowly dwindle down to that number eventually. But you're right, and you don't want anybody to be left behind, especially when they've devoted their life to their craft. And you're right. I would agree with what you're saying wholeheartedly.
Also, to see baseball potentially bump up to 34, it does make me wonder, since your background, it does make me wonder goodness, am I going to, put the whistle back on and start coaching again with 34 baseball scholarships? Although Butch, you've got a very capable coach there in Butch down there.
Yeah, yes, the rosters will be at 34, and I imagine that the scholarships will be elevated, obviously, above 11.7. But I don't know how many schools around the country, nor have I inquired, but I don't know how many schools around the country are actually going to have 34 scholarships. I don't know how many schools in the SEC will devote 34 scholarships to baseball. So, that's a wait and see. All of us are dealing on our campuses with Title IX, which has been around for 50 years and has been a great thing for college athletics. But anytime you increase an amount of scholarship for a men's sport across the board, you're going to have to find other areas to counterbalance that with. So again, I'm giving you more questions than answers here. But
so John, why do they consider walk-on football players as a scholarship for men?
Why do they consider walk-ons? I'm sorry, Wes, I didn't catch the last part of that.
Well, the Title IX, they consider, I've read where they consider walk-on football players as a count as a scholarship. Count as a scholarship for men.
Well, it's just overall participation. There has to be a balance, and they're not distinguishing between scholarship student athletes and non-scholarship. We're distinguishing male or female participants, and it's federal law, and we're going to cover that. And we work in some regard, and in many regards, for the taxpayers in the state of Alabama. Our university receives federal funding, and certainly we're going to make sure that we do everything that's compliant with Title IX. But there are several prongs involved with several Title IX that have to be upheld, and we're going to work to make sure that we're compliant with that.
Be it men and women's basketball, football, baseball, softball, and volleyball. Those were the sports highlighted earlier this summer on these roster sizes. But is what you're hearing from those coaches in particular, are they fairly uniform, or are you hearing different things from different head coaches?
Yeah, all of our coaches would want fully funded scholarships for every single player on their roster. I don't know if that is financially possible on any campus among the Power Four conferences. So that's going to be a wait and see. But certainly, all of our coaches would love the additional scholarship all the way up to the roster size.
Goodness. There is that. This is peeling an onion right now, Coach. And I don't know if we're halfway through, or it feels like the more we unravel this, the more complicated it gets. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. When you spend as much time as we do, the good news is when you're dealing with 50 other athletic directors in the Southeastern Conference, everybody can come up with the unforeseen scenario. So we can come up with all the problems, all the little tiny issues that are going to come up. But the question is, how do you solve them? How do you maintain, fiscal management and security within your department? And how do you make it fair and equitable, not only for your athletes, but across your league? That, you're right. We're trying to accomplish a lot in a short amount of time. But I will say the positive thing is, you know, I get to tell my children and maybe my grandchildren one day, hey, I was part of something incredibly special in this new age of intercollegiate athletics. And I do think helping student athletes get more, helping student athletes who are, you know, creating revenue and working hard, get these opportunities. That's exciting to me, but we got to find the right way to do it.
Well, that's one reason why I wanted to start with Birmingham Southern, because you were given an opportunity at a lower level, you know, division-wise, to get that step to transfer to Mississippi State. And it's seeing Birmingham Southern close the doors. I'm fearful that we're going to see more of that and not less of that.
Well, you know, there's several ways to look at that, Steve. I mean, you could say there's going to be more opportunities at that level, because if you look at the Southeastern Conference, just as an example with basketball, and you look at the amount of seniors that are being recruited versus the amount of transfers that are entering our league, there are a lot more transfers coming into our league than high school players. And when I say this is, that means there's going to be more high school players available to go to other levels. Yeah. So this, if you look at this 5 years from now, maybe you'll see an influx of a higher level of high school talent going to different levels of NCAA players. So I think there's a positive way to look at that as well.
Well, that is interesting, because conferences at UAB, Troy, UNA, Jacksonville State, I see where you're going there, Coach. I do.
And yeah, at some point, I think, and I hate to use this expression mid-majors, but because listen, we compete against them, and when they play against us, they don't play like mid-majors. But if you're a high school kid and now all of a sudden you see that as a pathway to the SEC, then maybe those institutions that you mentioned, maybe they're getting a higher caliber of high school senior in terms of ability than they have in the past. I mean, it's just strictly numbers. I mean, if an SEC basketball class is somewhere between 4, 5, 6, 7 kids, and more than 50% of those kids are Division I transfers, those high school seniors have to have a place to go play.
Yeah. So the other, and I know we've talked with you in the past about NIL, but now that we've gone down here, I believe this is year 3 for NIL. Do you see has there been an impact in terms of NIL taking away from fundraising at Auburn University?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's taken away from fundraising. I view it all as support of Auburn, whether folks are, you know, supporting our collective or supporting Tigers Unlimited, you're still supporting Auburn. I will say that we've had record-breaking fundraising in Tigers Unlimited. We're very proud of that. We've had many, you know, with our new football facility building and the new structure going up at baseball right now, and the things we want to do across campus. Has it affected us? Yes. Has it affected us as much as we thought it would? No.
You know, and right now Auburn's on fire as far as recruiting, and it seems like the football program is doing exactly what they'd hoped by hiring Coach Freeze, and it has to be exciting for you, John.
Well, Wes, here's the thing. I talked to hundreds of people. I talked to people that were recruited by Coach Freeze. I talked to people who coached with Coach Freeze. I talked to people, parents of kids who played for Coach Freeze. I knew that he was a dynamic recruiter, but now up close and personal, seeing him in a room with families and prospects, I had no idea how good a recruiter he is. And he and Coach Pearl might be the two best recruiters I've ever seen. I just think they take it to a whole different level of connecting with families, because family is what Auburn's all about. And if you look at the creed, it's right there in the written word here at Auburn. But he has exceeded what I thought you could do in 18 months worth of work in terms of recruiting. And his staff is phenomenal. I think we're just now starting to scratch the surface of where we can get with our football program.
Ticket sales wise, are they jumping up? Are they about the same from last year to this year for the football team?
Yeah, we're gonna sell out. From a season ticket standpoint, we have sold out. We hold back individual game ticket allotments, and we're going to sell out. The Auburn fan base is loyal. The Auburn fan base is hungry for what's coming, and just so proud that they have jumped in with both feet.
And you're going to be at home for like a month and a half right out of the gate.
Yeah, now that part wasn't the best news I've ever gotten before, Stephen West. The 5 weeks at home, with bringing in two teams into our league, Texas and Oklahoma, everybody had to redo their schedules, and the league really, most people don't realize that our league actually dictates a lot of our non-conference games and when they are played as well. So we weren't excited about 5 in a row at home and not a whole lot in October, but we're going to deal with it. That's the hand we've been dealt, and we're going to be excited about playing, and we're going to push our staff to the limit and make sure that our fan base has a great experience when they're here.
Well, another school that could potentially benefit off of what we talked about earlier right out of the gate, and it's right up on the hill, and that's Alabama A&M heading to Jordan-Hare right out of the gate.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that opportunity, and it's so great to play in-state institutions because we're all in this together. We're all here to help each other in this great state of Alabama, and we're excited about that opportunity, and I believe they are too.
So one other scholarship question for you is I am of the belief that we will know an answer by next academic year, by the second football signing period, that February signing date. I think we'll know an answer. You think I'm right or wrong?
It really depends. What do they say about how justice works? It has its own schedule, and we're going to be patient. But again, it is a stressful time for our coaches because they don't have this information just yet. But we will get it worked out, and I think this will be a thing of the past. It's a 1-year transition, and we need to get this right.
What are we sat down with Commissioner Sankey, and I know the $22 million, is that hard and steadfast, or could there be some wiggle room even for that $22 million that each university is responsible for?
Well, that number's been thrown around. I don't think anybody really specifically knows what the exact number is going to be. I agree that from where I sit right now, it's probably going to be in that area. And then how that's managed, how it's distributed, how it's split up from sport to sport. Again, these are the things that we have to get solved. And we spent a lot of time discussing this.
It feels like, is it funner to be a baseball coach than an athletic director right now? I mean, this is a lot of math right now.
Hey, guys, let's look at the baseball coach for a minute. The baseball coach signs the best class in the country, has no idea what's going to happen in June or July with the draft, and all of a sudden went from having the best class in the country to not so good a class because you lost a ton of players in the draft. And you gotta, you basically have 1 month or less from the draft to the start of school to recreate a baseball team. So that part of it's not a lot of fun either.
Sometimes you could recruit too good in baseball.
That's right. Yeah, I tell people for the longest time, baseball coaches are the only coaches out there who go watch their signees and hope they don't get better.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, I appreciate your candor. I know it's a lot of questions and there's not a whole lot of answers, but it is definitely a different world. From a partnership standpoint with the Big Ten, is that just from the SEC office, or do you as well participate in maybe some conference calls with some ADs from the Big Ten?
We have a specific committee that meets with the Big Ten, but I will tell you there's very little cross-pollination happening right now because each conference is trying to find their own way in this new path. Each conference is trying to individually come up with what's going to be best for their conference in so many different areas. So we have very, very little, if any, contact with ADs or coaches in the Big Ten.
Fair enough. That's at least, some news right there. So we'll take it. We'll take it.
And this is not a shot on the Big Ten.
No. I didn't take it that way.
We're very concerned about the SEC. We're not very concerned about the Big Ten. And that's just where we are.
Appreciate the time, sir.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. Thanks, Wes, Steve.
Likewise.
Thanks, John.
Always very honest and very open with what he can tell us, which that's interesting because I was of the opinion. I had a thought that maybe that there was just more than commissioner to commissioner communication, but it sounds like there's a little bit, but not as much, at least that I thought that I had in my head. And that kind of leads me down the rabbit hole of this. And yeah, I've got time to play this. Bruce Feldman was a guest on the Rich Eisen show. So that storyline that I brought up to the commissioner down in Destin about this partnership between the SEC and the Big Ten. Tell me what you think of this. It's about 2 minutes and 29 seconds. This is the conversation started with a very big football game, and that is Texas at Michigan, where you've got the SEC taking on the Big Ten.
It's big also, Rich, because it is SEC versus Big Ten.
Yes, sir.
And we don't get too many of those heavyweight kind of matchups. That is absolutely going to be one.
Yeah. And since they have a working group, right? Talking together?
Yeah, they do. And I do know this from running into Tony Petitti, the head of the Big Ten.
Yes,
there's definitely a lot of communication between the heavyweight, big shots.
What do they talk about, do you think? What's your general sense here?
I mean, everything from there was the scholarship number of what it's going to be. I think they go through to try to have real alignment there. I think because they know their issues are different than the issues that almost everybody else who's in charge of a entity in college athletics really is dealing with.
Well, that's, I feel like we go down a similar road when we have a conversation here. Those are the seeds from which I believe a super league will eventually sprout. Whatever they're talking about, it may not be full-on conversations, but just having a conversation about that subject matter.
Well, that subject does matter.
It grows into everything else out of it, and then eventually there will be a working framework of what the SEC and the Big Ten feel are multiple issues that they feel that they can solve together, and then who's coming with them. And then that will be the framework for everybody figuring out how to work football in a way that is as uniform as it possibly can be on so many fronts where there's no uniformity right now.
I think the different part of this, because there's a lot of parallels to people thinking, okay, this is going to get like the NFL. What I do think is different right now is the TV partners I feel like are way more influential in those two leagues. And this, full disclosure, I work at Fox, which is one of those two bigger TV partners, especially as it relates to the Big Ten. But in the NFL, I'm not saying they don't have, and you know this way better than me, they don't care what their partners think on the broadcast side. But I feel like the NFL is driving the NFL's business.
Well, because they have an actual, governing body with a commissioner and everybody, and a uniformity and a salary cap. And we know the schedule, and we know when free agency is, and there's a contract and a union. So that's where I'm saying this is headed on every single one of those fronts, whether it's an impetus from the Supreme Court's decision or it's an impetus between a working group figuring out who's with them in the same boat. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point.
So
that's not happening. That's just he's just making that up on the fly.
So thank you. I had the same thought of it really felt like to me the alliance back in the day, once it benefited one conference more than another, boom, the alliance was gone. I could totally see that here again.
Well, yeah, I don't. They're just working together to have some answers of all the questions you just asked this guy, John. It's just the same questions we ask all these people. They don't know the answers to them.
Yeah.
How can they?
Yeah,
it's impossible. There are no answers to these. They're just trying to. It's going to be so much that they're just trying to prepare for every scenario. But that guy just made that up on the fly. He's just having something to talk about in August.
Something else that I did hear from Ross Dellinger, and I texted him about this, and it's the first time I've heard this side of it. Well, actually, I heard Pat Forty mention it a while back as well, that there might be a consideration for schools that can afford more scholarships to offer more scholarships, and those that can't won't. Simple as that.
Well, that has to do with budgets. I mean, I don't see how the mid majors, as John put it, will be able to afford the same things that Alabama and Auburn can. So this I think that the budget and paying these players, along with paying now the non-revenue sports, or what they're called, the non-revenue sports, and the women are going to get paid also as well. So it's the money problem is here, and until Congress does something about it, we're not going to like the results.
Probably should have played this for the athletic director at Auburn University, but this was a question that Dari Noka posed to Chris Doering last night.
You got Hugh Freeze entering year 2. You got Kalen DeBoer entering year 1. Pressure comes with both of those positions, but who has more?
I'm going to play you Chris Doering's answer and like to get your opinion on it as well.
I love Chris Doering, but when it comes to Alabama, I don't know what his answer is either. He's not been right very much. So.
Let's take our final timeout, walking up to Braves baseball. Chris Sale's on the mound, so I think the Braves got a chance.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
This summer, make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Make it 0% financing, make it no down payment, and make no payments for 90 days. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's our Ford summer sales event, and I promise you can save serious dollars on a large selection of our 2024 Fords. We've got financing as low as 0% for 36 months on 2024 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, plus all-electric F-150 Lightning and Mustang Mach-E. And on all these Fords I just mentioned, you'll make no down payment and no payments for 90 days. Can you say Orange Beach, here we come? This is going to be a good summer. Come choose from over 550 new Fords, and you'll learn firsthand that nobody will work harder to earn your business. Brand new award-winning Fords with 0% financing, no down payment, and no payment for 90 days with your good credit. This offer ends 9/3/24. Come see us today and make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
At Mad Daddy's Burger Bar, we love baseball almost as much as we love serving up the best and baddest burgers around. People have called our burgers totally insane. And at Mad Daddy's, we take that as a compliment. But it's not just burgers. Up first, starters like our fried pickles, wings, or poblano frites. Second, try one of Mad Daddy's giant chopped salads. Third, our famous chef-inspired burgers with lots of different taste options. And before you head home, finish up with one of our shakes or delicious banana pudding. Mad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and Clift Farm in Madison. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Looking for your next adventure to be out of this world but don't have enough money to buy a spaceship and leave orbit? Well, look no further than Divergence VR theme park off of Governor's Drive Southwest in Huntsville, Alabama. Are zombies more your style? How about driving your favorite cars on the world's fastest tracks? Or maybe a gorilla game that has you climbing up tall trees to escape other gorillas? Wait, that's actually a thing? Huh. Would you look at that? For whatever adventure you can dream of, call 256-203-4128 to get your VR adventure started now.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Temperatures fall into the low 70s for this Wednesday night. We'll continue to sit under a mostly clear sky as well. Heading into our Thursday, we'll see another afternoon full of sunshine. No rain in the forecast. High temperatures topping out in the low 90s for the afternoon, but heat index values will be back in the lower 100s. We could also see gusty winds as high as 15 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It's perfect.
Tomorrow, Wes and I are going to make our way over to Parkway Place Mall, up on that second level. Carrabba's Italian Grill. Is your mouth watering yet? How about some lasagna, Wes? No, wait a second. They got steaks. Wait a second. They got some steaks over there.
Well, I'm going to tell you, they got a trio thing. They have a chicken trio that is by far my favorite thing there. And it's really good.
It's really good. Trio.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I see grilled pork chops, a 10-ounce sirloin, a 9-ounce filet. By the way, Carrabba's is our zone.
Yes. I'm going to tell you, that place is awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it in a big, big way. All right, who's got more pressure on them? Auburn in their second year with Hugh Freeze or Kalen DeBoer replacing Nick?
Are we talking about this year over the career? Or what?
Right now, no, this year.
I mean, honestly, and people may argue with me on this story, but I don't think there's any pressure on Kalen DeBoer this year. I mean, I think everybody realizes this was the most difficult job in all of sports to replace the preceding coach. Like this, it's impossible to live up to that. I think they got the best possible guy they could have in Kalen DeBoer, but clearly this season the pressure's on on Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers for a number of reasons. Remember, Hugh Freeze now getting back involved with the game planning, with some of the play calling. And two, he bet the house on Peyton Thorne. He didn't go out and get another quarterback. He basically said, I believe I can surround him with some talent, and with my influence directly, he's going to become the player I thought he was when we got him in the portal last year.
All right, more pressure at Auburn.
Well, I think there's equally as much pressure. And the reason I say that is if Auburn wins 7 or 8 games, Hugh Freeze is fine because he's recruiting on a level that they haven't done in a while. So they're going to be looking to next year.
Yeah.
Whereas Alabama, if they don't make the playoffs, will be considered a bad year. And then the pressure ramps up. I would say this. I think both these coaches are winners. They've won everywhere they've been.
Yeah.
And the amount of pressure they put on themselves far exceeds anything anybody else can do.
If Bama does not make the playoff, ... what kind of storylines do you think we'll be talking about in December?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be, Nick Saban would have made the playoffs with this team. I mean, no doubt. I mean, now if they lose 2 games and don't make the playoff, that's different.
But missing the playoffs is missing the playoffs.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, if you go 11-2, that's pretty damn good, or 10-2, and win your bowl game. I mean, yeah. I mean but a lot would have to happen for Alabama to lose. They'd have to lose the perfect 2 games, So to not make the playoff, and if they beat Georgia,
in September.
Yeah, in September, they'd have to lose 3 games not to get in. So it just depends on what happens.
I know I've said this over and over, but it bears repeating. The top 12 teams are not going to make the playoff. It is not.
Yeah, but the top 4 or 5 SEC teams are. So True. Yeah. So there you go.
True. If you're in that top 4 tier, there is a strong
but more of the top 12 will make it than don't.
That's also true.
Yeah,
that's
so
also
I mean, yeah. You can say that, and yeah, you're right, but not really. There's going to be 1 or 2 teams under different circumstances that could cause that to happen.
So we started by playing something here from the SEC Network. There was something else also released by the SEC Network. The past 10 years, we have seen elite quarterback play here in the Southeastern Conference. So Roman Harper came out with his top 10 list of the top 10 quarterbacks of the top 10 last 10 years in the Southeastern Conference. Here is Roman Harper's top 10 quarterbacks. He started out as number 10 with Mac Jones. Number 10 is Mac Jones.
I don't agree with much what Roman says.
Yeah.
Mac Jones.
Highest QBR in
the history of the game.
Number 9, Hendon Hooker. And I think we can all agree, had Hendon Hooker stayed healthy, probably a Heisman Trophy winner. We
can say that about a lot of people.
Number 8 is Jake Fromm. Number 7 is Jalen Hurts. Number 6 is Stetson Bennett.
Well,
number
I don't
5.
know how you keep Stetson Bennett out of it. He won 2 national championships.
Number 5 is Bryce Young. Number 4 is Dak Prescott. Number 3 is Tua. Then 2 LSU quarterbacks are the top 2. That's Jaden Daniels, number 2, and Joe Burrow. I mean, that was a special
I disagree
year.
with that on such a high level. But
Who's your number 1 over the past 10 years? Anybody on that?
Joe Burrow would have to be.
Yeah.
Playing the schedule they did and the way they did and the way he played. I mean, go back and watch some of the throws and tapes he made. Were incredible. And I think Mac Jones is second.
If you go back to that 2020 season, you go back to that 2020
highest QBR in history.
Yeah.
History.
And
in the last 10 years, history.
So would you rank Tua above Jalen and Matt?
Oh, yeah.
Or no, you'd have Mac ahead.
Yeah, I would. I mean,
That's going to wrap us up. We'll continue this at Carrabba's. Yeah, baby.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office